This is a robot, and I am going to teach it how to make a viral TikTok edit. From teaching it to simply cutting clips and adding beats, to using viral effects that owns hundreds of millions of views. To do this, I'm going to have to learn how to code and actually find an affordable robot this could be possible with, and inevitably post it to my 3 editing accounts, which should hopefully go viral. I mean, it's seriously better because after recording over 80 hours of footage of me just trying to get a robot to cooperate, and then also having my midterms exams and my driving test in the same week, this better be worth it. But I'll get more into those other stuff later. First, I need to find a robot that can do these 3 things. Be well made enough so it can interact with me, be programmable, and be affordable, because I'm not spending 20 grand on that Neo robot. After some thinking, I kind of realized the perfect robot already existed. Matter of fact, I had actually owned it years ago. Cozmo, a tiny robot made for little kids to learn how to code, and basically a fake pet when your parents said no to getting a real one. Not only was it interactive, but it's also programmable with Python, making this much easier for me to figure out how to code and teach it how to edit. But there's one issue. It costs $400 brand new, and it's sold out on all of the main websites, meaning I have no idea where I could get it. I actually did own one of these years back when I seen DNTDM using it in one of his videos, but years later, it really kind of just got lost in storage. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of kids who once had these as well, and now likely it's just collecting dust. And usually, people like to sell those kind of things. So I managed to bribe someone's mom on Facebook Marketplace to ship their old Cozmo to me for about $100. And honestly, that was a good save. So it came with these 3 cubes, the charger, this coding book, which we'll probably never use, and obviously the robot. My first idea was to program Cozmo to understand After Effects commands. So he would roll up to one of the cubes, tap it, then trigger an editing action on my computer, and maybe even show a pop-up that says Cozmo was editing. Now, did I actually end up doing all of that? For the first actual step, I had to connect my iPad that was connected to the robot to my laptop so I could run the code through it. But of course that didn't work. For some reason, when I plugged the iPad in, it just wouldn't show up on my computer. So after about 3 hours of losing my mind and trying to troubleshoot, I realized I had accidentally clicked Don't Trust on this screen a while ago, and now every single time that I try to connect my iPad to my computer, it will never work. But after that troubleshooting, I finally got it working again. I got it to work. Wait, can you trust this computer? Yeah, I just spent the last, I've been doing this since maybe 5:30. It's now 8:30. I've been doing this for the past 2 hours of my life. Now it's time to actually get to coding. Except I don't actually know how to code. And to be fully fair with you, if I tried to learn it all for this video, it would take me a few light years since I'm really not a fan of it. So yeah, this was the rare time that I actually used my ChatGPT Plus subscription for something other than just writing my English essays. I just went ahead and installed Cozmo's Python kit, which is just an app that lets me code him from my PC, and also downloaded a voice recognition system. The idea was, I say something, he repeats it to confirm it back, he then executes the editing action on my computer. So after a day of straight up hardcore prompting ChatGPT and yelling at it to stop giving me errors, the robot just did not want to go up to the cubes and tap them. At some point I realized coding just that alone would take so long, it really wasn't worth the time nor effort. So we ditched the cubes entirely. So the new plan was to just simplify it down. Have him understand voice commands, repeat them to me, execute the editing action, and then maybe have a little celebration dance if he does it right. To be honest with you, I also wanted to add a little UI animation on screen when he was doing an action, but I low-key forgot about it after getting lost in code when trying to teach the editing actions to him. So I'll save you the 16 hours of coding and troubleshooting I had to do. Rundown is I coded Python scripts so he can know how to do all the simple shortcuts in After Effects, like save and cut layers. And then I was going to make some After Effects scripts for all the effects that we were going to need, which at the same time, this drawing board I randomly purchased the other day had came in. So now we could actually write down and plan this out. And of course doodle on when I was getting insanely bored. Well wait, I haven't even talked about what kind of edit we're going to make yet. That's because I don't know. But what's better than to ask Cozmo himself that question? So we'll give him options and we'll have him randomly select. What kind of style do you want to edit? Buddy bro dance? Okay. What kind of audio do you want to edit? Nostalgic audio. This is not good because this sounds like this is exactly what I did for my Nintendo Switch edit, which is the last challenge video I've currently made. So this is gonna be so repetitive. Why? I feel like you're doing this on purpose. So let's find 3 nostalgic audios and we'll let him choose. I just realized I didn't specify when I said he's gonna choose the audio. Basically what his job is, he was gonna choose the kind of audio he wanted, which as you seen in the previous clip was nostalgic. Then I would go ahead myself and find 3 good nostalgic audios and label them as individual 1, 2, 3 numbers. From there, I would ask Cozmo to choose between 1 and 3, and then whichever one he chose would be the audio we were going to use. Pick a number between 1 and 3. So he's going to do dancing. Okay. What main effects do you want? Okay. What? No, we're not doing that. You have to choose one ghost. We're not going to use 2 different ghosts. What main effects do you want? Okay, I need to fix this. Rainbow Ghost will still be in the challenge, but it'll just be an alternative of the main ghost.
Few inches later.
What main effects do you want? That's good options. That's good options. See, 3rd time's the charm. We can cook with this, okay? We can cook. Dude, I'm so happy this chair reclines. This is so comfy. Actually, speaking of which, if it wasn't for the comfort, I wouldn't have survived the hours I spent on this project. Which is why this video sponsor, FlexiSpot, genuinely saved me with the C7 Morpher. When you're sitting 8 to 12 hours a day editing, comfort is everything. Trust me, you don't want the generational pain of 8-hour kitchen chair grind. But unlike the kitchen chair, Morpher is sturdy, actually comfortable, and built for people like me and you who are just straight up grinders. You get this cool 3D adjustable headrest, this flex lane upper back support that literally wraps around your shoulders so you stop punching like a Discord mod. Yeah, no, don't worry. I just seen you fix your question mark looking posture. The air lumbar inflates to support your lower back. Alongside of that upper back support, the comfort goes together pretty well. This chair makes my editing flow feel much easier on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I'm not kidding when I could say sitting here for hours feels like being on a cloud. And the hybrid mesh cushion keeps your hips alive. Alongside of this 5D armrest that moves with you even when you recline. Let me tell you, peak relaxation. Thankfully, I can now edit and be comfortable at the same time, and so can you. Get a 30-day risk-free trial and a 10-year warranty, plus some budget-free options like the C7 and the C5. You can check those out in the description and the pinned comment. Thanks to FlexiSpot for saving my neck pain and for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to editing. So after we understood what kind of edit we were gonna make and the inspiration from the edit we'll be taking, we had to actually teach him the effects. So I actually started to make the scripts for those effects using my own personal presets along some other extra stuff. Which, if you don't know, if you go up here in After Effects and click Add Script or whatever you code it in, it will basically execute. So, like, here's me doing it with my watermark. Now, I did that with all of the effects that Cozmo chooses for my own personal editing presets. So he can start by being a pro from day one. Which I will also make sure to leave in the description and the pinned comment. Alright, now that we taught Cozmo all the basics, I think we should start editing now. First thing we had to do was cut up the clips. Since the inspiration we were going to be taking was from a dancing edit, the clips I was going to use was just random clips from the Flash of the cast dancing to fit the vibe. Before that though, I made the edit project and imported the clips that we needed. So Cozmo can just directly get to editing. Now I'm gonna be for real with you. The recorder I used to film Cozmo kept stopping after 8 hours of footage for no reason at all. So the first real editing moments wasn't recorded, but I do kind of have the screen recording right here. Mark beats. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. You don't understand how long I've been troubleshooting this, and it finally worked. Why do you keep saying ready? Cut layer. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Put on screen how long it took to just cut up a singular layer. Whatever the timestamp is, I don't know where I'm pointing. Right there. Go 0.5 seconds backward. As you kind of just seen here in the previous footage, to move around the timeline, I had to tell Cozmo how many frames or seconds to go forward, have him cut the clip, skip frames, cut again, delete extras, all that. Kind of a nightmare. Until the 2 clips literally took me like an hour, and I had 8 of them. So as the teacher of the situation, I think it was pretty necessary that I would just go in and cut the rest myself. Don't worry though, because the effects and aligning will still be a problem for him to deal with. I think another part the recording cut out is when I marked beats, but as you can see in the screen recording, it marked 1 too many. But after previewing, I realized every 3 to 4 marks was pretty much equivalent to 1 beat. So I just had Cozmo drag each clip into place. Can't be that bad, right? Select layer 2.
Selecting layers 2.
Layer start.
Moving the layer start to the playhead now.
Go 25 frames forward.
Forward.
Cut layer.
Cutting the layer now.
Delete.
Delete the selected layers now.
But before I can move on, I remembered I had midterms this week, and I didn't study at all. Thankfully, I do online school, so I can just do everything the weekend afterwards and hope for the best. Now here comes the fun, yet maybe the most complex part, the effects. So before anything, I went ahead and added some text right before the big beat drop of the edit, since Cozmo did request it. And also, I think after rewatching the edit a few times, I kind of just wanted to cut out the first 4 seconds of the edit because it was kind of unnecessary. So I later will just cut it out near the end of the edit. When it came to adding the effects, the execution wasn't that bad once I had gotten it down. But the thing that took so long was actually getting the robot to understand what I was saying. And that's because of how bad the Python voice recognition was, which honestly was one of the most annoying parts of this project. I don't know why it would just always be picking up anything other than what I was trying to say, but after putting in a bit more time, I found some ways to get around it by programming the words it was mistaking me for saying as a voice command as well. But there was some rare instances with commands like pre-composing. For some reason, it just didn't want to work no matter what I fixed. So this was another rare exception where I just went ahead and pre-composed it all myself. Now we can finally add the effects. But after more time, the voice command still didn't want to cooperate with most of the effects. So I just came up with making some numbered commands. So if I say effect 1, the effect programmed to it would be applied. And then it would go all the way up to effect 12. And then to remember which one is which, I wrote them down on that board, making this part much easier.
Selecting layers 18.
Add effect 1. Okay. Play edit. So bad. I first started by adding all the zoom ins and outs as you can see here. And then after applying it to all the clips, it was time to add these 2 other extra effects. The ghosts and the lens blur tints. We have 3 other effects we can mess around with. 1, rainbow ghost. I think I'm gonna apply that to the first layer. Select layer 19. Add effect 4. I then basically applied it to every heavy beat. Once I was done, I then applied the lens blurs to the beats in between every heavy one, I guess. Play edit.
Playing the preview now.
So bad. I'm not even kidding, that's so bad. Cozmo, you didn't cook. You had a good idea, but you didn't have good execution. Now I think this is one of the most important parts of making an edit, adding the color correction. To add the 4K color correction I'm gonna use, I'll just ask Cozmo to choose randomly between 10 of my best color corrections that I have personally crafted and found out to be the best for viral edits. To do so, I just prompted ChatGPT to code him, so he will randomly choose one of the color corrections when I ask him to. What coloring do you want?
What coloring do you want?
What? Really? That's an excellent choice, because that's my favorite color correction. High five. Never mind, I forgot you're an AI. So to add the color correction, we'll pre-compose all of our clips. We'll go inside, and no, what did you just, okay. And then before we apply the color correction, we're actually gonna add a plugin called Instant 4K. This will just literally make quality like so much better before we actually put a color correction on. Half of these clips are like in 480p, so this is gonna be very useful. Make another adjustment layer, and then that's the one we add the color correction on top of. So we'll just drop my realism CC as requested by Cozmo himself. Cosmo's too stupid to know this, and he's still a beginner newbie. I'm just gonna drop these on, I'm gonna put these rainbow layers on top of the color correction because the sharpen messes the look up. After enough hours of frustration, it was time to render the final edit. But before that, I went ahead and pre-composed the entire edit for Cozmo, since we know he ain't good at that, and then dragged it to get rid of the first 4 seconds so it would start the text, since like I mentioned earlier, it just makes the edit pace better and makes so much more sense. I then asked Cozmo to add the watermark, and then finally had him wrap up the final edit. Render.
Open your queue.
Enter. Yes. I am so happy. I am so done with this challenge. I'm so done.
6.5 hours later.
Alright, ready, Clinker? Your first edit. Oh my god. Yeah, it's kind of ass. He's pissed. He's not happy. That's horrible. Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of a bad editor. I'm not gonna lie. I know I didn't really give you the best view of it, but the final edit should be posted here and on my 2 other socials. Go check them out and see how they performed.